On everyone, welcome back. This video we are looking at the Monday night showdown picks for Draftkings and Fanduel. We have a pretty fun game tonight. Both offenses look pretty good. Both teams can put up some points, so the Saints and the Las Vegas Raiders. Last showdown of last night was awesome too. Almost had a takedown. We were under 1 point away, like 0.8 points away from taking it down on Draftkings with Newton, Wilson, Metcalf, Edelman, Bird, and Burkhead. And on Twitter, I tweeted out that I loved Newton, Wilson, Metcalf, and then Burkhead. Once we heard about the very sad news of James White missing the game, so almost had it there. Hopefully we can have it tonight or get close again tonight. Really could have used that yesterday, but still got some screenshots of people winning, hundreds off of just a couple dollars on the showdown. So that's at least good to see, but that takedown would have been awesome in that $10. But anyways, let's get into this one. So as always, appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to join for this showdown or for football, you can visit the website. Links in description. And let's get started here at running through the players that we have. So the most expensive player on the slate is going to be ALVIN KAMARA at 11.4. He had a really poor game in terms of yardage, only 1.3 yards per rush. He got it done with his 5 catches for 51 yards. And found his way into the end zone twice. So they do like to use KAMARA around the goal line and in the red zone because he's so fast and he can be used as a runner and a receiver. So I think he looks pretty fine today against the Raiders. He is expensive though. BREES only threw for 160 yards, only 18 of 30 passes he completed. So pretty poor performance from BREES. They ended up still winning, so it wasn't too big of a deal for him. This week, he's going to be without Michael Thomas, who is out with a high ankle sprain, so he's going to have to rely on his tight end, Jared Cook, Sanders, KAMARA getting a couple more catches out of the backfield, and maybe like Traquan Smith or somebody gets more snaps, but BREES is always a viable option, nothing against him. Josh Jacobs might be one of my favorite plays of the day. I think you could play my captain. I like him more than KAMARA just based on the price tag difference. Like Jacobs, just like KAMARA, is going to get around 25 to 30 touches. He's going to be utilized in the red zone. He also can grab passes and take off from there. And he seems to find his way. He seems to have a nose for the end zone as well. Like he usually can plunge it in with this because he's such a big running back. So 9,600, it's a spot where I do love Josh Jacobs tonight. And then Derek Carr is only 9,200, so you get a $1,400 savings from BREES. Both quarterbacks are viable. I think Carr looks a little better just because he's cheap and he'll allow you to pay up for some other guys if you don't want to have BREES. One of those lineups that you make without both quarterbacks. If you want to play both quarterbacks, then I think that's fine just because Carr is only 9,200. Sanders, 8,800 is going to be the #1 wide receiver now for the team, at least for a couple weeks. He is coming off a game where he only had 3 catches for 15 yards, but it's also a week where BREES only threw for 160. So you can't really take that into account too much. It's only a 1-week sample. It's a much worse defense this week, and BREES, if he throws for 300 yards, a large chunk of that's going to go to Sanders because of no Michael Thomas. I also have Jared Cook, who's going to see more targets as a tight end. I like Darren Waller quite a bit at 74. Henry Ruggs looks like he is probably going to play. He's questionable, but looked like he was going to have a big week in week 1, and then he got hurt in the second quarter and was just not the same in the second half. He did not play like nearly as much as he did. He was kind of used as a decoy after he got hurt, but seems like if he's going to play, then I would not expect him to be limited or anything like that. He showed his upside with that long 40-something yard catch in week 1, and they also gave him a couple of rushes, so he's just so fast. Definitely can break one off of anybody. And then I definitely like Ruggs a lot more than Traquan Smith. You could use Smith as a value if you want, or a lower owned play. I'm not interested really in Aguilar because he only played 11 snaps, and some of that was when Ruggs was injured. But he did catch a touchdown, so good for him. But being an Eagles fan, I have had my fair shares of Nelson Aguilar, so not doing him again. With RENFROW, just $400 more, RENFROW is going to play like 40 more snaps than Aguilar. So play RENFROW over Aguilar. I'm not interested really in the defense either. I'm expecting a high-scoring game in this one. Both offenses I think are going to be capable of moving the ball. Both have solid running games. Both have some quality guys that can catch passes. So I'm not really interested in playing any defense. especially the Saints are 5,200. That's really expensive. Definitely not going to play the Raiders defense against the Saints. And then the kickers, I think, are viable this week because in a high-scoring game, maybe they get stopped in the inside the 30, inside the 40 a couple times, and then you got two really good kickers. So in Lutz and Carlson, two guys that their teams are comfortable with attempting long field goals, and we know how many extra points you get for if they make a 40, 50-yard field goal, and both guys are capable of making 50 plus. So both kickers in play. Taysom Hill, the Saints are always going to use so many guys, so you probably will see a little bit more usage in this one, maybe without Michael Thomas. The Saints on prime time, we've seen them quite a bit over the last couple years, and we've seen them get touchdowns from guys like Taysom Hill, Josh Hill. So just guys that you wouldn't expect. They use in the red zone. They use in the goal line situation. So Josh Hill, $800. He played like 40 plus snaps in week 1. Didn't catch a pass. Didn't have a target, or had one target. But he's just not. He's really used for blocking. He's only $800. So you gotta hope that he can catch one when they're inside the red zone, because that's when they're gonna use him a little bit more. To play action and then just lob one on Josh Hill in the end zone. So $800, he's the cheapest guy that I would consider. I'm not interested in anybody else cheaper. So that's kind of it for the breakdown. We will look at some potential builds that you can use. So the Saints have a lot of guys that could take some stuff away from. I have a lot of guys that could score points in this one and get a touchdown. So I think there's a lot of ways to go when you're making your builds. Also, Latavius Murray, I don't know if I talked about him, but he's super cheap. He's definitely playable at 30 or 50, 100 as a captain. That would be interesting, playing Murray at captain, but we'll see where it takes us. So first thing I'd like to do is maybe play one with Josh Jacobs at captain. He's 14-4 at that captain spot. So you save quite a bit from playing him instead of KAMARA, BREES. You could play Derek Carr at captain if you want as a cheaper play, but I like Josh Jacobs a lot tonight. If we want to play the number 1 wide receiver for the Saints, put in Emmanuel Sanders at 8,800, leaves you with 67. Put in Henry Ruggs, leaves you with 68. Derek Carr to throw to Ruggs, maybe throw to Jacobs, still leaves you 5,400 left. And then we could go with probably like Latavius Murray to get at least one of the running backs from the Saints, and then 7,400 have Darren Waller if you wanted to kind of do a little bit more focus on the Raiders stack. Definitely looks pretty viable. You get a lot of the guys that could get their way into the end zone. Maybe Murray can take some work away from KAMARA in the goal line, like Sean Payne likes to do sometimes. But yeah, Latavius Murray is definitely viable. He had 15 touches, no targets, or 1 target, no catches, but he's shown that he can catch a couple passes too if he does get thrown the ball too, and he's going to get around. They're probably going to split the running back work. So that's definitely one way to go. Another way to go is at captain, if you wanted to play Derek Carr just because he's cheap, and then you could play Josh Jacobs with Carr, leaves you with 6,650, and then we could play Darren Waller again, leaves you with 6,400, and then maybe just be different and play like Taysom Hill, leaves you with 8,500, and then we could put in Drew Brees because he's Drew Brees and he could go off any game, and then maybe play Tre'Quan Smith. This one's definitely different. You get 3 guys from each side, and then on the Saints side, you're getting a couple of guys that are not going to be super popular in Taysom Hill and Tre'Quan Smith, but definitely a different way to go if you want to approach it. And then let's do one with ALVIN KAMARA in there. I think if we wanted to be just try one out with Latavius Murray at captain because he's only 5,100. And maybe he can get his way into the end zone. He's going to find his way into the end zone multiple times this year. So if that happens today at 5,100, that's going to be great. So if I play Murray at captain, play Drew Brees, Josh Jacobs, leaves you with 8,233. You could play, even put in KAMARA if you want to get both running backs. Just cover your entire bases in that field. You could do that. And then you're down to 6,650. Put in Sanders if you want, and then put in one of the kickers if you want to do that. Or instead of KAMARA, you could play Derek Carr, and then 67 play Smith, Tre'Quan Smith. Wanted to try to fit in Ruggs, then you're probably going to have to go down from Sanders to Cook or something like that. But definitely a different way to approach it if you wanted to go cheap at captain. Right now, I'm probably thinking about paying up a captain just a little bit. My favorite captain, I think, is going to be like Derek Carr or Josh Jacobs just because they're cheap. So yeah, I'll probably go with Josh Jacobs at captain just because I think he's just going to have a potential to have 30 touches tonight, and if that happens, yeah, and you're definitely going to want to have him in there. Maybe he's probably going to be one of the best captains if he does get those touches. So, love Josh Jacobs. I love Latavius Murray. These are just the core pieces that I would have at 3,400. Just, you know he's going to get touches. He's cheap. So, he's definitely another core piece for me tonight. And then, any of these guys up here, I think could have a potential to have a good game. If you're a little bit worried about Ruggs, you could play Darren Waller if you want. It's only $600 more. But, do like Darren Waller at 7,400. And then, on the Saints side, in terms of a pass catcher, you have Sanders and Cook. They're going to get a lot of the targets. I could see Sanders, having a good game. So I like these four, kind of my favorites. And then the quarterbacks you could play as well. I like Carr a little bit more just because he's cheap. And then you could get your skilled position guys in there. But yeah, these four I like a lot. And then you could, mix it up with Carr and then go cheap with their second guy. But yeah, that's it for the DraftKings breakdown. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let's go over to Fanduel and see how their pricing shakes out. Okay, on Fanduel at MVP tonight, no surprise, Drew Brees is your most expensive guy at $16,000. And then we get ALVIN KAMARA at 14, Josh Jacobs 35 or 13.5, and then Carr, Waller, Cook, Sanders, kind of typical. So for me on Fanduel, you always want to get your guy that you have highest projected. On DraftKings, you want to. It's different because you're paying extra to get your guy at captain. But Fanduel, you always want to have your most highest projected guy at captain, as long as you feel comfortable with it, and you want to. Sometimes a lot of these guys are going to be popular at captain, but for me, Josh Jacobs is my favorite guy. I think KAMARA might get a little bit more ownership at captain. You could see BREES get some ownership, maybe Carr, but I'm playing Josh Jacobs at captain on Fanduel tonight. And then you have plenty of money to spend on Fanduel. You have $11,625 on Fanduel. Looking at some of the cheap plays, you have the kickers are cheap, as always. Henry Ruggs is $9,500, so that's really nice. Latavius Murray is $7,500, who's going to look pretty good again today. Taysom Hill, $7K. Booker got some work, but just a backup running back. Who knows how much love he's going to get. Benny Fowler is going to get some love and some looks at $55. And that's it. So, for me, it's kind of the same plays I like on DraftKings. I like to build similar lineups on both for showdowns because it gives me the same players that I can root for watching the game. But I'm definitely going to have Josh Jacobs in there. I think Sanders looks really good at $10K on Fanduel at his price point. Could fit in BREES if you wanted to. He's $16K, so you have $10,000 left. You could play both quarterbacks. And then you're down to $7,500 and play Latavius Murray, who would fit like a glove in this and leaves you with exactly $0 remaining. So that's going to be maybe a duplicated lineup, maybe one that a lot of people will end up with. So if you want it to be different, maybe instead of playing BREES, you play KAMARA, who has same upside, maybe a little more upside depending on how the game script goes. And then instead of Murray, you can get up to Henry Ruggs, who is $9,500. So this is another way to go on Fanduel, but I think Sanders is going to get a lot of love because he's only $10,000, and then Jared Cook is $500 more, so maybe you could play Cook instead. But for me, I like this build quite a bit. I like this build a lot, or I like the other one with BREES and Murray. But these three are the core pieces on Fanduel for me. And that should about do it for this video. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and best of luck.